Hello guys and ghouls, welcome to day one of Retro Review Week, where I bring out the dolls that started it all to see what exactly led to the rise of Monster High and why they remain fan favorites to this day. I will also be sharing what could have been done better since Monster High is coming back with completely new dolls for the first time in way too long. I could think of no better place to start than with the main six. In addition to artful packaging and a doll for everyone's favorite color, not just the overused hot pink, the first Monster High doll's quality was unrivaled by any dolls on the market that went for the same price in 2010. Having articulated limbs made them more appealing to an older audience for how posable they were for photos and to a younger audience because they wouldn't break when taken on imaginative adventures. Another reason they stood out was for their diaries, which had codes for online games and information that made each character unique beyond their appearance. The games and webisodes that I discovered through my first Frankie are what made me a Monster High fan for life. I still visit the site and play them sometimes. Up until Monster High, dolls for 7 to 12-year-olds were expected to be cute and pretty. The fact that these ghouls were based on scary characters from folklore and films set them apart from more traditional dolls like Barbie and Bratz, especially because they showed that an unconventional appearance didn't mean someone was to be afraid of. I wasn't goth or particularly alternative in my style when Monster High first debuted, but I am now, and I owe my romance with darker aesthetics to the signature ghouls. I wasn't lucky enough to buy all the first wave dolls in 2010 and 2011, but I did my best to paint the missing details onto the re-releases. Frankie is the main character, but Draculaura is a fan favorite, so let's begin with a closer look at her. I wish that her doll was shorter like she is in the series, but I love how tall and slender they are compared to other dolls. Draculaura has beautifully shadowed eyes, vampire fangs, and the perfect birthmark for someone born on Valentine's Day. Her pigtails, which I made higher so they would stand out more, and her neo-Victorian style are adorable. And this is coming from someone who doesn't really like neon colors or pink. Her umbrella is my favorite accessory of the entire first wave because I love it when dolls have something other than handbags. Her tights match her sleeves perfectly, and these high lace-up boots belong in a 2010 time capsule because they were so popular among young teens back then, and rightly so. I added some lace to her skirt because I dislike how unnecessarily short it was. It just didn't seem comfortable. Her pet is a bat, and we see Draculaura transform into a bat just like this, so I wonder if Count Fabulous is a vampire too. If so, don't you think it's a bit weird that she keeps him as a pet? Anyway, I think Draculaura is a fan favorite for two main reasons. One is that she's pink, and two is that she's easy to love. Frankie often gets the ghouls in trouble, and Cleo and Clawdeen are mean or proud at times, but Draculaura never seems to do anything wrong. She's always kind, supportive, and either seeking out the truth or a victim of others' dishonesty, which we can all relate to being at one point or another. That's not enough for Draculaura to be my favorite character, so let me know who yours is and why in the comments. I'll be sharing mine soon. As for Frankie Stein, I restyled her hair to be more voluminous and gave her Raven Queen's headband as well as this spiked bracelet from I don't even remember who, because I think it adds some edge to her preppy look. I love that she has heterochromia and stitches on her face, not only her limbs, because I have a scar under my eye too. Although it's barely noticeable now, I hated how people stared at it when I first got it as a child. I couldn't imagine then that it was unique or part of my story the way that Frankie's is. She looks like she walked straight out of Hot Topic with this outfit on, especially because of the chain belt, which I love. This isn't my favorite pair of Frankie's shoes because they match her hair more than her outfit, but they're certainly not bad. Watson is easily my favorite pet because he was stitched together in style just like his owner. I brought it out of my accessory bin for the review, but I actually don't spray Frankie with her purse because it just doesn't match her look. I could understand the red for Ghoulia, but I think Frankie should have come with a book bag or a sewing kit since she was constantly unstitching during cheer practice. Next up is the fierce Clawdeen wolf. Just like with Lagoona, I prefer her wave 2 clothes more, but I do like her hair and wolf ears a lot. The fur and her boots are great, but I'm not a fan of her shirt or how short and plain this skirt is. It's not even a mini skirt at this point, it's more like a tutu, which doesn't suit her personality. Her later outfits in Scaris, 13 Wishes, and Freak de Chic reflected her personality much more, in my opinion. Crescent is my second favorite pet because I find cats beautiful and I love purple. Egyptology intrigued me so much as a child, and she always reminds me of that with her jewels and mummy wrap. Gold and aqua blue were a great choice for this royal, a great departure from purple too. What I love most about Cleo are her eyes because they're the most proportionate to her other features, which makes her look less cartoonish. I don't know what this is, but it's certainly not the eye coffin that she has in every episode. Maybe it's a blackberry, but it's certainly not an amulet, which is what she should have on her since she constantly tried to enchant or curse others with one. That was so funny in the early episodes. I don't have her purse, which is fine because it's nothing to rave about. Hisette, on the other hand, is beautiful. I love that her snake is wearing gold jewelry. Snakes are overhated and underrated. Excluding the deadly ones, snakes are adorable and their skin is gorgeous, so I'm glad the most popular ghoul in school has one. Speaking of ghouls, it's time to have a look at Ghoulia Yelps. Because I love her character most out of the main 6, I think Mattel has been doing her an injustice since doll number 1. If I didn't know that she was a zombie, I wouldn't think that, because apart from having gray skin, nothing about her features is monster-like. I would have loved to see her bones or muscles exposed in certain areas like they did with Nathan Rott. I repainted her earrings, headband, and necklace because the green and pink seemed a bit out of place. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, I love her silky blue hair and this cherry motif, but it's so random and unrelated to her personality. I wish her print was blood, brains, or even owls, since they're a symbol of wisdom and she has a pet owl. There was so much potential, and I feel like the least amount of effort was always put into Ghoulia's outfits. I love her boots, and this mixtape bag is super cool, even though Ghoulia's connection to music is never mentioned. I almost feel like they had a different personality in mind when they created her, but I could be wrong. For me, the perfect wave 1 Ghoulia would be wearing her periodic table dress with some red droopage, these boots, and brain wedges at the bottom, a blood red cardigan, her Dawn of the Dance owl rim glasses, and she would have a Deadfast comic book in hand for sure. All that being said, I still love this doll because I love Ghoulia. Last but not least, we have Lagoona Blue. She was my favorite character after the first movie because she gave Frankie pretty good advice and she was always so mellow. I love aquatic and nautical themes, but I don't think as much of that is present in her original outfit as it was later. It's just scaly, which doesn't make much sense to me since she's an amphibian. It's always bothered me that her doll's eyes and facial expression doesn't quite match how she looks in the series, especially because the size and roundness of her eyes caused so many of them to be printed unevenly. I remember people had to go around and check the Lagoonas to make sure their eyes weren't lopsided or derpy. I would wear this seahorse necklace and the flower in her hair if they were different colors, because I like them that much. Her webbed fingers and fins are so unique. I remember so many people losing them once they took the elastics off. Thankfully, I somehow did not do that. Much like Frankie's shoes, these are nice and simple. Later designs like the Elite Dawn of the Dance Lagoona and, surprisingly, Shriek Wrecked from the reboot were much more interesting in my opinion. What sets this Lagoona apart, however, is having a fishbowl for a purse. I absolutely love that. She seems like just the type of girl who would bring a piranha to school. That is all I have to say about the main 6, for now. Who do you think has the best character design? Do you prefer Wave 1 or Wave 2? If you enjoyed this video, let me know with a like and a comment. Stay tuned for more retro reviews.